Thank you for being here. In this episode, we have special guest Tamika Taylor, and with Dr. McGuire, we discuss the law of attraction and how to use it so you can be, do, and have anything you want in this life. If you enjoy this, please like and subscribe to stay up to date on our channel. Thank you, and enjoy.
There she
There she
is.
is. How are we doing?
Wow, I'm so good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. So let me take just a few moments to introduce one of my favorite people. This is Tamika. She is a personality and mindset coach. She's a partier. She seeks joy in everything that she does, and of course, has just been amazing in helping me with my own personal development as well as helping my business grow by just focusing simply on me and what makes me happy and all the things that make me who I am. So everybody, welcome Tamika.
Thank you. I'm so excited
Yeah.
to be here.
Did I miss anything? Is there anything that you want to say to everybody about yourself?
I mean, well, my company is called the Evolution Collective. You can follow me. I am the Tamika Taylor on everything. But yeah, you summed it up.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me today what I do, and I was like, I make exceptional humans.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
It's the Alika and Tamika show.
The Alika Tamika Show. I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
we're doing it.
Something we
Okay.
really
So
should do.
yeah, right. So here's what we're doing today, folks. We are talking about the law of attraction, right? What is it? How do we manifest, right? We're always throwing out these words, especially when it comes to like January. We want to start manifesting some things. We want more money. We want more of this, but somehow, it doesn't always quite work out for us. And I couldn't think of anyone better to talk about the law of attraction than Tamika. So Tamika, I've got several questions for you, and I'm just gonna spitfire them, and you just go
I'm
after it, okay?
ready.
All
I'm
right.
ready. Let's do this.
So, question number one? Can you explain to the folks here what are the basic principles of the law of attraction?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Okay, so I think it's not even basic principles. I don't think it's multiple. I think it's one principle, and that is the principle of belief. The law of attraction is working for you, with you constantly. You just have to believe it. You have to believe that it exists. You have to believe that it is all around you. And so when we talk about the law of attraction, really what we're talking about is the energy you put out into the universe and the energy that you are attracting back. And
Got it.
but step one, it's belief.
Yeah. So that kind of leads me into my next question. How does it work? We've defined the law of attraction, this thing that we believe in that attracts the things that we want to us. How does it work? How do we use this power to our advantage?
Yeah. So, believe it or not, manifestation is just a very beautiful term that people use to describe what you're doing all of the time. So, the law of attraction, what it is, how do you do it? It is the ability to call into your life that which you are seeking. The kicker is that sometimes we are seeking things that are good and sometimes we are seeking things that are bad. That's why the number one principle is in belief, because you have to believe in the good that are coming for you. So what you do with the law of attraction and manifestation, it's a thought that you have. It's a thought and a process, a thought or the words that come out of your face, that the energy, whether you believe in I want to be very clear too for everyone that's listening. Whether you believe in God, you believe in a certain God, you believe in spirits, energy, whatever it is, okay? Your belief is your belief. I'm not here to make you believe in anything outside of you that you don't believe in. But what I believe in is the power of the energy in the universe and in God. So you'll hear me explain both. Use it into whatever way you want to. But anyways, it's important because whatever you put out in the law of attraction, you get back in. And it starts inside of your brain. You think it, and you think it, and it comes true. And you say it, and it comes true. Because everything you declare has power behind it. And that's what people get lost in the law of attraction, because they say things all the time, and then they get confused as to why it becomes true. The average person, though, only believes that on the negative side. They don't actually truly believe it's possible for them on the positive side. But you are attracting both negative and positive at all times.
Yeah. Speaking of the law of attraction, when we start talking about the law of attraction, the concept of vibrations and frequency come up. Can you speak more on that?
Yeah. So the everything in our on our planet and our universe, every person has a frequency and an energy. And you push it out and you bring it in. It's the way I like to describe it to people is when they have been in a space and they're like, oh, I just feel that person in the room. Or when somebody walks in, it's like, I instantly feel happy when you're there. Or I think more people have experienced it where they know somebody is really negative and mean, and when they walk into the room they feel it. That is a like energy, and frequencies are a feeling that we get, and we pull and push those frequencies constantly. We can actually use those frequencies to get what we want and also to deflect what we want. So if you can just look at every being on our planet, whether it's an animal, plant, anything like that, everything has an energetic frequency. And you have to know that in the law of attraction, what's really cool is that the energy and the frequency that you put out, that's what you attract back in. That's what's really cool about the law of attraction, is that what you put out comes right back to you.
Absolutely. How can we distinguish think between the law of attraction and say things like positive thinking or visualization or affirmation?
Ooh, so visualization, affirmation, positive thinking all aid the law of attraction. So if you think about what you put out comes back. The law of attraction is essentially a frequency that brings back those things. Affirmations are those are words and phrases that you say to yourself to change the way that your mindset is around certain things. Mainly it's you and your circumstances, but affirmations exist for that. When you change, your affirmations change your brain waves and the way that you think, that changes your level of attraction. Because when you move to positive thinking or positive belief, you get positive results out from the world. So they work hand in hand. Affirmations, positive mindset. What was the last one you said?
Visualization.
Visualization. All those help your mind first to create belief, which is that first principle. It helps your mind create that belief so that you can attract what you believe you are worthy of. Because we can only attract, that's the thing. We can only really attract what we believe we're worthy of, both negative and positive.
Yeah. How would you speak to, and I know you've helped me with this one personally, but how would you speak to the person that is saying and affirming things, right? I remember saying, I am a $1 million chiropractor. I am a $1 million chiropractor. How they continuously say this over and over and over again, but not truly believe it. What sort of pitfalls, how do we get past that, and what problems do you see arise when we're doing the positive thinking, but not necessarily the belief is there?
Yeah, so affirmations are both wonderful and deadly. Just as you described, people will affirm it all day. I think it's similar to, you've watched The Office, you're an Office dude.
Yeah.
Like when Michael goes, like pushes out the door and he goes, I declare bankruptcy. And he's like, I didn't say it, I declared it. Like that's not enough to take action. So people will be in a state of affirmation, like you said, like, and I love that you said that because I've been there. I know multiple people who are like, I've been affirming this for years and it's not coming true. When you affirm it, you have to believe it. And when we are in the space of not believing what is in front of us, what happens is if we have not yet in our mind created a reality in which that could be true. We haven't yet in our mind created a belief around that thought. So really, we're affirming it, but all we're doing is just saying words. I'm $1 million chiropractor. Yeah, sure. Okay, whatever. I'm $1 million chiropractor. Yeah, in my dreams. What is happening is that you're trying to affirm it and your brain is kicking it back. So if you're working on affirmations or you're trying to create a life that is different than what you know now, I tell people you have to get into the feelings. Because unfortunately, in order to get into a high level of belief, you have to be surrounded by the feelings of that belief. And so when you're like, I'm a $1 million chiropractor, but I look at my surroundings and nothing in my surroundings say that I'm a $1 million chiropractor, then inside your mind, you have to create the belief and the story. One of the most powerful things, and we talked about this, and we talk about this pretty regularly because as both Enneagram 8s, at very young ages, our imagination kind of was cut off. An adult said, you're not allowed to have it, it's gone. But imagination is one of those most powerful tools that we have to create a different reality than what we see in our current space. So if you're saying something and you're in this affirmation world and you can't get there and it's not happening for you, you have to tap into that childlike wonder, rediscover your imagination and create the image inside of your head, and also look at like, what does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like to walk into a $1 million chiropractic office? Or what does it feel like to walk into the home of your dreams? What does it smell like? What are the details? Because the more detailed you can get, the more your brain gets behind you in that belief.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I read about from one of my favorites, Esther Hicks, is that sometimes you have to move your belief up a scale in which you are within vibrational like closeness,
alignment to, yeah,
right? Mm-hmm. You have to be you have to have some type of proximity to the next step. Me, when I was a chiropractor, just happy to pay my rent, right? Me saying that I'm $1 million chiropractor, there's way too large of a gap there. And in that moment, I'm only creating more frustration, right? Mm-hmm. I could have, instead of saying, right, I am a $1 million chiropractor, maybe I could have just said, my bills are more than paid, which is an affirmation that you and I have worked on over and over and over again. And, of course, at one point that didn't feel good for me. Mm-hmm. And I had to keep working on that. And now it's like, my bills are more than paid, which is nice.
Well, and what's really good about what you just said, and I didn't touch on, so I'm really glad you said it, is that affirmations are just words unless they make you uncomfortable. Because it should be uncomfortable to say these things over and over and over again because you don't yet believe in it. You don't yet see it. So it should be a little bit uncomfortable, but you need to get, as Esther said, to the next vibrational level in order to get over that hump of discomfort. And then, yeah, like as you said, like all of a sudden one day, yeah, my bills are more than paid. Holy shit. Okay, great. So now I've elevated to the next level. A really fun story, if you don't mind me telling, that I heard at a leadership conference that I was at. So Mark Cuban was seemingly nobody, back in the day, nobody. He worked as a business professional here in Arlington, Texas, and then he was in Dallas, or he was in Arlington, but he knew that he wanted to elevate, and so he moved in to a 2-bedroom apartment with 6 other men in downtown Dallas. So 6 like 20-year-olds living in the same apartment in downtown Dallas because he knew downtown Dallas is where he wanted to be to like up-level himself. So he got him into that space. And as he looked at his surroundings, he's like, I don't feel prosperous. I don't feel abundant. I don't know what I'm doing. So what he did is he took his credit card, and I can't remember what the limit was on it. It wasn't a high limit, but it was the only credit card he had. He took his credit card and he went to Neiman's and he bought an expensive set of towels because in his mind, apparently there's no
cool.
reactions. In his mind, When he got to the level at that which he desired, that level of him was going to have fluffy, comfy towels, like luxurious, the most expensive towels you can have. And so he got those towels to represent the life that he wanted in the future, right? He was creating that belief already. Like in my mind, towels. For me, it's staying in hotels with the robes, the embroidered robes and the chandeliers and all the things. That was my like just being in beautiful places. His was the towels. Now he's Mark Cuban and has like billions of dollars and all of these things. And those same towels are the towels that are used inside of the Mavs locker room right now. So teams
Wow.
love coming to play in Dallas because they have the nice towels. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was
For
like
you,
elevating to the belief. Yeah.
for you, it's hotels. For me, it was honestly just starting to act more like myself.
Mm.
That's really what it was. I mean, for those of you who have been with me for a long enough time, there was a point in time I wore the white button-up shirt and a tie every day, and I laugh about it because I could not think of. I look at it's still on my business card, and I look and I'm like, who the fuck is that? Like that, like that's not me.
Yeah.
So, and it
And
was so funny because the day I just gave up and stopped wearing the tie. Like everything started to get better.
that brings up a really excellent point that a lot of people aren't able to manifest or aren't able to enact the laws of attraction because they're trying to attract a version of themselves that's not real or a version of themselves that they're not meant to be, and that's
Absolutely.
deadly. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
You have to be true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
laughed about that picture today. I'm like, I don't know who that man is. That man is broke and not himself and can't
Yeah.
figure his life out. And it doesn't matter what systems are in place, he's not himself. And there is
Mm-hmm.
power. There's massive power in being who you were meant to be.
Yeah. And that's kind of skipping ahead because I got my next question, right? On top of that, we've already touched on a lot of the misconceptions about the law of attraction, but what are other ones that you encounter and how do you address them?
Ooh, misconceptions about it. Um, the biggest one, we've talked about it a little bit, but I'll address it in kind of a constructed way, is negativity. Only bad things happen to me. So I
Mhm.
can't believe that good things will happen. I call, it's the red car theory, or I think it's called the yellow car theory because it's very rare to see yellow cars. Um, but the yellow car theory is if you're always thinking about yellow cars, then all of a sudden you see yellow cars. And it's really funny. I was on stage last week and I talked about the yellow car theory. And then that same, like, I'm leaving the venue and one of those god awful Tesla trucks was behind me, and I shit you not, it was yellow. I, in front of Jesus and everybody, a yellow Tesla truck. I was like, that's awful. But yellow theory, here we are. And so there's a lot of people who think that they can't actually get what they want because they're stuck in such a negative pattern. Like, only the bad things happen to me. I only hit red lights. Um, and it also, I mean, that the negativity aspect and the fact that it's not real. And how do I combat that it's not real? I ask people all the time, is there ever a situation in which you wanted something and then it showed up? Or you were thinking about somebody and then all of a sudden they started calling you? That is the law of attraction at its finest. They're very small examples, but they're very real examples that you've had happen. Anybody has this power. You just have to believe it. Well, and actually, you just have to believe it to be able to control it. Even if you don't believe it, it happens to you consistently and regularly.
Yeah. I think two misconceptions that I hear a lot about is one that simply affirming it and thinking about it is going to make it appear,
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't think about money or you don't think about, money or you don't wish for money or pray for money without some type of action, right? It's not just going to pop up. $1 million check is just not going to pop up in your mailbox, right? I believe in that the law of attraction, when you use it properly, it's going to create circumstances, conditions, environments, resources, people, which you can leverage and use so that you can get the things that you're trying to manifest. But it's not just going to appear just because you prayed for it. And then another one is, when we are having these thoughts and these desires, when we're launching these desires out into the ether, it's coming from a place of lack, right? Everybody wants more money. Everybody wants a better relationship, a better job. But when you launch those desires from a place of you have a shitty job, or you don't have enough money, or you're not happy in your relationship, you're releasing the vibration from a place of lack, which is going to only attract more of that. So be careful. Be careful what you say, but really take inventory of your thoughts and how that is attracting and creating your reality.
Well, and to that point, like, you have to be, in order to, like, I don't want to say control is such a strong word, but to really to be able to control and use it to your benefit, you have to become very self-aware. Like, it's always working on your behalf, the things you say, but in order to change your circumstances or to change you have to be self-aware. And I think when you study the law of attraction, and you and I have talked about this a great deal over the last 2 years, that what you say and what you speak becomes reality, whether you want to believe it or not. And the more you study the law of attraction, the more you realize the synchronicities of this world. And it's wild.
Yeah, absolutely. Chills. So, so of course, obviously, right, this law of attraction, this manifestation, it's a journey. It's always changing. It's always evolving. You're always learning about yourself. And it doesn't, especially for those starting out, there's always a great deal of skepticism as to whether or not it exists, whether or not it works. And so how do you recommend someone approach skepticism regarding the law of attraction?
I mean, I think skepticism is just a really natural, important part of the entire journey. I mean, I've been doing this work for many, many years, and there's still some times where I'm like, what in the world is happening? Like, sometimes I'll throw something into the universe just to make sure it's all working. Um, but the skepticism, you have to figure out what that underlying actual emotion is inside of it. If you are feeling skeptical, and what I find is that people who are skeptics in this space is because they are throwing out massive elephant things and expecting it to come true tomorrow. So similar to how you're talking about, like, you can't ask for something and then just sit on your ass and expect a check. The universe isn't just going to deliver. My husband James actually sent me a meme recently that was like, if you pray to God for something, you best not be surprised when you wake up in the morning and there's a shovel. Like, you have to be ready to move. You have to be ready to go. So don't throw out elephant size requests, because those elephant size requests take time and they take effort and they take work. If you are a skeptic, ask for something small. Say that you're looking for something small, or that it's as simple as like, well, I really hope that tomorrow I see a red Chevy truck within 10 minutes of being, and then you'll see it and you're like, oh, okay. You have to build your belief. Okay, we can only hit our goals by one bite at a time. So while you are in your skeptic stage, throw out tiny things and then see how the universe responds. But what that does is it makes you become aware. It makes you look. A lot of people can't handle the law of attraction, or they don't pay attention to it. They don't believe it because they don't pay attention to anything that's happening around them. They don't look for the synchronicity. So if you're a skeptic, start small, then work your way up.
While you were talking about that, one of the greatest examples I like to throw out there is that you're always going to be attracting, and if you're not aware of what you're attracting and how you're attracting it, you're kind of just going to get left with how it all plays out. And my favorite example is, the person, that doesn't want to work for a living, right? There's many ways to get around that. You can be living off of disability and government assistance for the rest of your life and never have to have a job. You never have to work a day in your life, or you can marry rich and have a rich husband or something like that, and where you don't have to work and you can just stay home all day, right? You're attracting the same type of lifestyle that you've put out. But if you're not aware of those things, it's going to manifest in ways that you kind of just have to deal with. And of course, which one sounds more lavish, being, being in a nice house with a rich husband, or, living off of government assistance in, not great conditions and all of that stuff. You really do get to choose, and you really do have power and energy, in any way, when it comes to the law of attraction.
Well, I tell people all the time, like, the law of attraction essentially is like writing out a Burger King order to the universe. Like, you can have it your way. You just have to be very specific. And it's the specifics. That's why it's so very important to see it inside of your head. Don't just ask for, like, let's go back to the lavish husband and the beautiful home and not having to work. There's so many people who are like, well, I'm trying to attract a partner. And I'm like, okay, tell me about him. They're like, oh, I don't know. He's tall. I'm like, great. He could be tall and also beat you. Like, what else? Like,
Yeah.
get as specific as possible. You can write out your order. I'm currently sitting in an office inside of a thing that my husband and I attracted on accident because we wrote down in great specifics what we wanted in a house. And he said, well, we're not moving for another year or so. And then 6 months later, here we are in this house because we wrote it out so specifically that the universe was like, "Beep, beep, beep, here you go. Got it."
Yep.
It
Absolutely.
literally had everything except for one thing. So, yeah, you have to be so specific in what it is that you want. And that's what's really cool. I think we're taught as kids and adults. And, I don't know if I know you grew up in the home of like, no, you get this and be happy with it. But we're taught as kids to not ask. Don't ask for that. Why would you want that? Don't do that. Don't. Blah, 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 blah. So then we become adults who are afraid to ask. But in actuality, ask, boo boo, in great detail. Ask for what you want and work for what you want with that ask, and you shall receive.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
All right. Here's a pretty going to be an interesting one. So many critics are going to often argue that the law of attraction is going to promote things like witchcraft or magical thinking, or it's going to overlook systemic beliefs. How do you address these criticisms?
I am very much a neutral kind of being. Believe what you want to believe. I don't care. Um, but don't try and poo-poo on what I believe on or believe in. I have many spiritual advisors, all who are Christians. And so I have, and also like, I don't know, I'm part Native and part African. You're part Filipino and part Hawaiian. Like, the the older the generations of people, the more mystical belief exists. But that mystical belief, or the witchcraft is what it's coined today in today's terms to make it bad, was how they praised the God that they praised back in the day. Like, and by back in the day, I don't mean like the 80s. I mean back in the day, like back in the ancient times.
Yeah.
Like when our people first hit the land, right? And so anybody who believes that, then I tell them, I'm like, okay, well, then you can continue praying because praying is a form of law of attraction as well. So you can call it
Absolutely.
whatever you want. You can believe in whatever you want. I don't care. I like to tell people what I believe, and you can believe in what you want. I just want you to believe that. and I don't know, like for me, I tell people all the time, like it's 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 comforting to me to believe that something else also has a role in my life, because then I don't feel alone in that space.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
My thoughts. I mean, what is an affirmation and meditation if not prayer, right? What is a
yes.
manifestation if not the answering of those prayers? What is the universe or the law of attraction if not God listening to you and listening to your desires and presenting you with inspired action and resources with which to create that life that you want?
Yeah. Amen.
Right, there's so many parallels between the two. um and it's mind-boggling to me that people don't get it.
Yeah, it's, to each their own. Yeah. I'm like, if you don't want to believe that, I hate that for you. Like, I hate that journey for you, but that's not my ministry. This is, so Godspeed.
Yeah. All right, so we're about running out of time, but I got one more question.
Excuse me.
What is it, what are some ways that we can continue to use the law of attraction to our benefit? What are some things that you do to use the law of attraction in your life?
Ooh, good question. So, a couple of different practices that I do each day to make sure that I am in like cahoots with the law of attraction, that I am sticking on the straight and arrow, is practicing gratitude. Gratitude is one of the biggest laws of attraction that exists. Even when you're having a really hard day, even when the world is falling apart, like going into a place of gratitude gives you a little bit of hope. So I practice gratitude every day. I write down 10 things that I am grateful for, because it will, one, take me out of my curmudgeon state, but two, it helps center me and remind me of like the good that happens in this world. So that is a daily practice that I highly recommend you do. I also am constantly seeking joy-filled moments in each of my days, even on the hard days, even on the shitty days, even when you want to punch somebody in the face. Sometimes I'm like, I'm so grateful that you exist so that I can try and solve this problem so I never have to exist in this space again, right? Seeking out joy changes my law of attraction, because as I seek out joy, joy seeks out me. So I practice 10 things of gratitude and 10 things that brought me joy each day. Sometimes they're the same things for joy, because I love my coffee cups and I love my pens and I love my life and I love hugging my people. Like the top of my gratitude list today was getting to hug both you and Derek today and getting to spend time and space. Like literally it says Derek and Alika in all capital letters is the top
Yeah.
of my joy and gratitude list. So while you're going, if you're going down the journey of the law of attraction, I like to tell people it's easier to attract the good versus the bad. So using those two things to just kind of set a foundation for your day and get you into a space where you can attract the good, because you're putting the good back out.
And what I'm hearing here is just finding the feeling space,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even on the hardest of days, you can find something with which to be grateful for. And
Absolutely.
I, of course, over the last couple of weeks in my office have been really stressful. But there was just one day in particular, I was stuck on meetings and I had a good 20 minutes to not do anything. And I turned off the lights in the office. I opened my windows because I got to listen to the most beautiful rain that was just
Ooh.
happening outside the office. And it was wonderful. And that was something that immediately made me feel better about the circumstances that I was going through that particular day.
Mm-hmm. It's
So,
amazing how the law of attraction can change everything. Mm-hmm.
mhm. One of my favorite things is I like to journal. Every Monday I journal. We call it, I call it the creative workshop, where I take 4 pages out of my journal and I title one of them is my body, my relationships, my work, my home, and then I will write a list of 3 or 4 things that I want out of all of them. I was telling you about this earlier this week. Like I want a snatched body, right? I want a beautiful yard of grass. I want a covered patio with a pergola. And then underneath those little things, I write why I want them, right? Because I want to listen. I want to sit outside and listen to the rain under the cover of my covered patio, right? Which is nice. I want to, because I want to, fit into my old, surf shorts when I was living in Hawaii. Like, so those types of things, and then immediately those things start to feel better. And then one thing we've talked about this, I think we're going to continue talking about this, just me and you personally, is my meditation practice, which is so difficult, especially when I'm starting out. And I'm actually consistent with it, but meditation, sometimes I feel like during my meditation, when I'm able to quiet my mind, ideas pop into my head that I'm able to write down, that I'm able to act on, or just sometimes just reducing, it's allowing me some pause to, like kind of like a nap for me. Like I get to pause for a little bit and get back to it at a much better feeling place.
So. Meditation's a good spot. I mean, meditation alone is a good place to realize the energy that exists around you. And that's a great place to start for the law of attraction.
This is the last question, because we could talk about this for hours, but what are your favorite places to go to learn more about the law of attraction? What books, what audios, where can we start for everyone listening that wants to start using the law of attraction to their advantage?
So my favorite is Esther Hicks. She's been so there are many laws of the universe. Law of attraction is just the one that most people know about. So any of Esther Hicks's books, I think there's like, gosh, I don't know, 20 of them. There's actually one you can get that has all of the books. Like it's a massive textbook that has all the books in it. I know that you've introduced me, so I'm going to say something that you do, like the YouTube meditations with Esther Hicks, of just all of the affirmations that you can say over and over and over again. My spiritual advisor who actually introduced me to the realm of thinking bigger than myself, is Sarah Beth Green, the Yarning Shaman. She's the one who opened my eyes, and she teaches classes, and she's the Yarning Shaman on Instagram. She's great to learn from as well. I'm trying to even think who else. I know that there's more. The book The Four Tendencies is a really great one too. That's about all laws of the universe, but definitely the law of attraction, on how you need to show up in order for it to work.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I just got done reading Ask and It Is Given by Esther Hicks, and that book, like my copy has so many like pages folded and post-it notes and hatch marks on it for things that I'm gonna, I can't wait to like for like next year to come, when I decide I think it's a good time to reopen that book and revisit a lot of the things. But Ask and It Is Given, and a lot of the things from Esther Hicks on YouTube has been just absolutely wonderful for me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, her voice alone is a very meditative voice, so that's really nice. But yeah, her thoughts and the way that she thinks, and if you can just realize it is just truly that simple. It is.
Yeah. And I just thought about this, because this one, it's fucking gold. Like when I thought about it, because it made me feel better. But remember I was telling you I was like super overwhelmed, and I made my 2 lists.
Oh yeah.
So things are tough, guys out there, right? Especially if you're a business owner trying to get some stuff done. But one of the coolest things that I did that made me feel better, I made 2 lists because I was overwhelmed, like lots of shit to do, insurance, patients, trips coming up, whatever. I made 2 lists. On one list, I titled it Things I'm Going to Do. On the other side, I said things I want the universe to do for me. I did. I got my list, checked everything off that day, because I got it done. It was a lot easier to chew, and everything else I just kind of forgot about. And then I realized, now as I'm talking about it, I realize that those things didn't need to happen that day.
Mm.
They didn't need to happen. They were important. They had to get done. Some of them, were going to took care of themselves, but they didn't need to happen that day. So try that. That's another thing to try if you guys are ever feeling overwhelmed with stuff.
Oh, that's a really good one for releasing your humanness.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many things that we think we have to do on our own and we don't. And so that's a really good activity.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, my
Okay.
friends, that is all the time that we have for today. I've got to go down. I'm in Dallas right now. We're playing in a big volleyball tournament. I've got to go register and make sure and let them know that I'm actually in here. But I got to go do that. Tamika, is there anything else that you wanted to tell the folks today?
No, if you are interested, you're welcome to follow me on all social media. I'm the Tamika Taylor. Otherwise, thank you for having me. I'm happy to have this conversation all the time.
Oh my gosh, yes. We will definitely be seeing Tamika on the show again in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. This is going to live on the channel, so if you guys want to reference this or go back to it, we will get back to you. It'll be here. It's going to get on YouTube somehow. But thank you so much for joining. Tamika, thank you so much. And you guys all have a very wonderful, wonderful night. Goodbye.
Bye.